back because no one demanded it. More of this show. And today we look at The Terror Beyond Part 1. Okay, as much as I would love to do the whole episode in that voice, I won't. And if you hear a lawnmower, I'm sorry. They just started cutting it right as I was about to record, and I need to get back on track, get a chunk of these done. So if you hear the lawnmower, I'm sorry. I'm This one has a lot of clever dialogue and jabs at other characters. Other characters kind of taking pot shots at the other ones like conventions or sayings, and the way they go about things, which brings the episode up because the basic plot, the basic point is really the very tired. It's the we don't have time to talk, but we're gonna fight you. I always hate that plot. I mean, I understand you can do it right, and they're trying. What is it? Dwayne McDuffie, I believe, wrote this, and he's trying. Uh, for one, once they start the ceremony, it can't be stopped. Okay, I get that. But he picked two characters that don't like to talk or tell anybody what's going on. First, Solomon Grundy's in this, and we get to see his backstory, and that's cool. The swamp, the Gree, the voodoo curse, and all that good stuff. I don't know how well that follows Grundy's origin. I barely remember it, but Solomon Grundy isn't really his name, and he's kind of this immortal. Solomon Grundy, born on Monday, dies, comes back. But Grundy has like next to no communication skills, so so he can't communicate what's going on. And they have Aquaman, who is an asshole. He's not Namor level asshole in this. He's Arthur level asshole, which he feels more like Arthur to me, which is nice. But they have that whole thing. So and Dr. Fate, who's the third person, who's the guy who bringing these people together to try to do something. Looks like they're trying to seal away this bad thing, or stuff. I don't know. That's kind of the hook for the next episode is you're going to figure out what that bad thing, because they have this thing that explodes, and then there's tentacle monster skull thing. I don't know. But he's trying to figure out what to do next after the spell gets broken, and he's trying to think, and everyone wants to fight. They have this weird... they could have sent him anywhere, but it's interesting that they do that, even though they send Superman and Grundy to Egypt, and they're fighting right in the pyramid. Of course, to go to Egypt, you have to go to the pyramids. And there's nothing else in Egypt but the pyramids, apparently. And Aquaman and Wonder Woman get sent to Easter Island with the big heads. Now this is the chance, and they use the environment. I kind of wins when like Superman's like bouncing off the Great Pyramid and like putting a dent, cracking something. I'm like, that's a monument. Superman might try to dodge around it or something. And they're using the Easter head, the Easter Island heads in the fight. And I'm kind of like, that's, I guess in the moment I'll give it, but I'm just kind of going, national monuments, national treasures. Come on. There's a little bit of respect here. Not from the animators, but that the characters do have a sense of respect for culture and artifacts and things like that, especially Wonder Woman. And Superman has a respect for those kinds of things. That they would do more to avoid damage, but it's a nitpick. There's still fantastic action scenes. I actually prefer the Wonder Woman Aquaman one, because they really spent some time sitting there working out the fight and the choreography. The Superman Grundy thing is more of your straight up slugfest. There's no finesse. There is zero finesse. But the Wonder Woman Aquaman fight, which has them doing lots of exchanges, and Arthur can easily relay what's going on, but he doesn't have the 30 seconds. They have barbs they're exchanging. He could have easily came up with like 2 or 3 sentences and explained what the hell's going on. But that's not Arthur. Uh, I would like to think Arthur's that smart, but some Aquaman's ego is about as big as Namor's. Now, see if this was Namor. I always talk about Namor, the Submariner, in in Aquaman stories. Why? I just want to talk about Namor. I don't know. Um, you'd think Arthur. I would believe this if this was Namor, because Namor has no switch. He's just 100% one thing or the other thing all the time. Arthur has more subtleties. Yes, he can be an empirical douche, but he can come around. I don't know. It's, once again, it's not really the focus of the episode. The focus of the episode is to have cool fights, which they really do. Like I said, the one between Wonder Woman and Aquaman. And I like that Wonder Woman loses. Because I love Wonder Woman way more than I like Aquaman. But I like that, going in, you think Wonder Woman's going to win. But just the setting and the one last little thing, and I don't know why Arthur didn't move it over into the water earlier, but that one little, the way he did it, it makes sense that he would win to that. Once he goes underwater, he can take the pressures of the bottom of the ocean, and even if that Diana can, she can't breathe. She's going to get knocked out. That makes sense. So I like that. And another thing is, I'll try to keep this short. I like the barbs, but I like how Superman is the call for temperance. I mean, they have Hot Girl throw out a jab, and Hot Girl is in full on no think, just smash, dopey mode. She's kind of dumb in this. I mean, she notices the markings are Thanagarian, Dr. Fate's symbols. They're like Thanagarian, which really interests me. I want to know more about why that is. But she notices that in like a hard time into the fight, and they have to pretty much remind her that her mace is having good, seems to be screwing up Dr. Fate's magic, and all she can do is insult people and just be a bit of a bitch in this. Just there's no other two ways about it. She's being a bit of a bitch in this. There's no reason for her to be quite as forceful and rude. She's rude, uh, and unnecessarily rude. There's a time to be direct and aggressive and rude, and then there's a time to then you're just being an asshole. And she's just being an asshole. But she barely. I mean, she's not. She's like in the clip. She's not thinking at all. It's just kind of smash, smash, smash. Which is, I like. I like when they gave her more layers. It seems. In this one, she's kind of. I'm thinking that's what part 2 is going to be. Her having to stop and think and really and be more of a well-rounded person instead of just the hit things and threaten people. So I'm pretty sure that's where they're going to go. If they don't, that's cool too. I mean, it's just hard to like her in this one. You just want to go, good Lord, woman, how do people be around you? You're just an ass. But But one thing I do like, I like how they set up that that some bad juju's going on, and that like the sea creature, and there's the whole debate about whether Aquaman is bad, but it hurts Superman, so Superman's like, oh, this must be magic, and magic's not really Aquaman's forte, so that it's like, how does that play in? What's going on here? And I like that Superman in this is once again. I love Superman in this because he's like, let's figure out what's going on. Let's hear people's stories. I want to hear. I want to listen. I don't want to jump to a conclusion. And it gets called out by Hawk Girl. She kind of just goes, "Do you ever get tired of straddling the fence?" He wants information. He wants to make an informed decision. I like that Superman is thinking and he's putting together. Oh, magic must have hurt Laney, and he's a little bit pissed off that it's magic because it's the thing he's always had a vulnerability to it, so he's not nearly as unstoppable as he normally likes. He's got to sit there and depend and lean on other people way more than he would like to. But that's a good character move for Superman. But he has a thing with Grundy, and he's trying to understand what's Grundy's going on. Grundy's not talking. Fate's not talking because he zaps him away. Arthur's not talking, even though this is the best. This is why I love this episode, if nothing but for this scene. He points out that they win the fight. They teleport back. He's dragging Grundy. Aquaman has Wonder Woman. And they see each other, and he's like, Aquaman's like, oh, I'm gonna get you. And he's like, we don't have to do this, just tell me what's going on. You just tell me what's going on. And, Aquaman's like, argh! And he just sighs. And it just, like, what happens next. It was so good. It's just such a, it's hitting home that idea that Superman's idea of, this tolerance thing is one of Superman's points, but it's really showing the strength of that. I don't want to be the one who, jumps to a conclusion or throws around. I want to have information. And it shows the strength of that. If every character would have acted like Superman, none of this would have happened. This would have been easily avoided. Everybody could have figured out what's going on. They need Grundy, fine. They, whatever, we'll get it done. But no, because everyone has to just run around like dummies. We have a mess with Superman just going, hey, could we talk this out, really? Which is the point where I'm like, hey, communication here, guys. That's all we need. Just a little bit, and everything gets fixed. So, we're going to see what the weird demon-y thingy that popped in towards the end is all about, and see you in part 2.